Hey folks, Troy Dooley, the Beachside CEO. We are home during the month of March. It's March Madness. Everybody's excited. It's also a major day for voting. This is Super Tuesday that I'm shooting this video right here. Last month, I spent some just phenomenal time with my friend, Jeff Weisberg. Jeff is an amazing individual. We go back almost now, well, a little over a decade. We're going on 2 decades, actually, that we have been in some form of business relationship. It started out, I was running a small, I say small, at that time it was the world's largest lead generation support and training company, and he was a member of that. We teamed up with his mentor, BK Breako, back then. We created one of the first integrated online systems where leads were going into it, and they were building a phenomenal company. And then Jeff left and went on over with BK to launch Vima. And as some of you know, late last year, Vima went through a storm. It's coming out of the other side of that storm, but during that process, Jeff came to a crossroads. What was he going to do? Why BK and the company fought what I believe was a governmental overreach in the Vima case. But that's a different story. This is about Jeff. Jeff made sure, unlike a lot of people, that he didn't have to just go looking for a deal, go jump to something new. Many days and many nights we had phone conversations and texts, and he was talking to all of his mentors, traveling and seeing what guys that he trusted over the years had to say. And one day he called me up and said, "Troy, here's what I've done. I've got my team all out where they need to go. My leaders are just having a wonderful time in their companies, and now I'm ready to build it all over again." I said, "Jeff, I don't understand that. You had everything. You could have gone and gotten a deal somewhere. You could have done whatever you wanted. What'd you end up doing?" And he said, "I went back home." And that's what this video is about, is I sat in California and interviewed Jeff. Now, the video that I'm going to show you happens to be at late at night. We had been at the beach together. We shot a lot of video. But this right here, you can see his heart. It was just the two of us in a small meeting room in a hotel where he was able to share why he chose the leader and the company that he decided to go to. Not a startup company. A company who had weathered its own storms, came out the other side in one of the best kept secrets of network marketing. Listen to Jeff. Hey folks, Troy Dooley, the Beachside CEO. I'm out here in California. What town are we in today?
We're in Marina Del Rey.
Marina Del Rey, nice hotel tonight. And I met up with Jeff Weisberg, my brother from another mother. Man, we've had a blast. Every time we're together, we have a blast. But with everything that's happened in the last few months, Vima, some of that stuff, people don't know who you are. You've taken your time to decide where you want to go. But I want people to get to know you like I've known you. I mean, I've known you now almost 2 decades. So just share a little bit about your background, what got you started in network marketing, and just up to where the Vima situation started.
Got involved in network marketing when I was 19. A friend of mine approached me when I came back from college overseas, told me about a business. Went to his house, showed me Amway, and he invited me out to the Pasadena Convention Center. Right. Went to a big opportunity meeting in a hotel like this, saw a bunch of men in suits and ties and women all dressed nice, and had a chalkboard up there, and they were drawing circles. And I learned about network marketing. Grew up with a dad that was very successful in the life insurance business, retired at 59, and taught me about residual income, go to school, get good grades, and start your own business.
Sure.
Insurance didn't really excite me, but that night I went, and I don't know what it was, but drank the Kool-Aid or whatever you want to call it, and I saw a lifestyle. Wanted to be an accountant. I don't know why. I don't even do my own books now.
And your dad wasn't an accountant, just did life insurance?
Life insurance and estate planning.
Wow.
Came after that night and just saw an opportunity. And it was the lifestyle that really got me going. I met up with one of my first mentors who kind of saw more in me, I guess, than I saw in myself at 19, and said, if you learn a couple of these things, and again, back then we had no cell phones, no internet, no fax on demand, no nothing. It was
long distance was expensive.
Distance was long distance.
Yeah.
And it was all this. And you're a 19-year-old kid. I was a big guy. Obviously, I had a lot more hair.
I've seen those pictures.
Yes. And so I learned, some concepts from him and had some good success a little bit, and ended up dropping out of college, which is kind of crazy. I was going to UCLA to do network marketing.
How many years have you been in?
I was in college for about 2.5 years.
Okay, so about halfway through, I'm out of here.
And, from then on, once you learn the industry, I mean, it's something that you can't get rid of. Then I went into another company for a little time called Old World. They went out of business, and then I got involved where I really started to have my first big success with Herbalife in the early 80s, and learned from...
Oh, man, that's back when Mark and everybody was still rolling.
Still rolling. Learned from Mark, knew him very well. I was one of the top 50 in the world in Herbalife back then. Larry Thompson, he's been a mentor of mine ever since. And, here I am, a 23-year-old kid, started learning about what was going on. We used to have a button that said, lose weight now, ask me how. I got on the product. I used to be a chubby kid, lost 24 pounds.
I was going to say, you had a personal experience at Herbalife, which
Yes.
To me, and I always teach this to teams, is if you have that personal experience, it's a whole different ballgame than just the cash deal. And you proved that.
Well, back then I learned that it's not what you say, it's how you feel about what you say.
Right.
And the best story is your own. Get a product story, or if you're using a service, get a service story.
Sure.
So I got results back then, people saw it. Kind of like if me and you were trying to market a hair growth product.
Wouldn't work too good, would it?
Not at all. But if we were drinking something and 6 months from now we had hair, people would buy it by the truckload.
That's a true point.
So I got results, we had some success there, and then they had some problems in 1985 with the FTC and the FDA, and the sales went from about 90 million down to under 10 million. Our checks went down 70, 80, 90%. So I was pretty much heartbroken and got out of the industry.
And that was even bigger than what you guys have just experienced with VEMA, because Senate subcommittee got involved. I mean, it went nationwide with the press. It was we didn't have the internet, but it was just as massive because the newspapers picked it up everywhere.
Yeah, it was all over the newspapers. And back then, newspapers was internet.
Oh yeah, if the newspaper said it, it must be awful. I remember I was in Kansas City at the time, and the Kansas City Star lambasted Herbalife. And even after it was all cleaned up, like some of their rebuttals were on the back pages. Nobody ever realized. But where'd you go after that?
Then I got out of the industry from 85 till about 91. Started a couple of different businesses, had a little success, and then pretty much flopped in all of them. And then in 1991, I was in Dallas meeting with some people for the business I had, and I banged into a buddy of mine that I had met in Herbalife, and Jeff Roberti, who he's like the Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson of our industry. I mean, today he's one of the top 10 money earners in the history of our industry.
He's the secret weapon that a lot of people have never heard of, but yet he has influenced so many people's lives. That's the amazing thing.
And if you look at a lot of companies, a lot of leaders like myself and others came out of Herbalife, Mark and Larry.
Absolutely.
And then Jeff's obviously taught a bunch of people as well. And he said, what are you doing? And I really wasn't doing a bunch then. He said, we just opened up Europe 6 months earlier. Why don't you come over to Europe, and let's build this thing like you did in Herbalife. And so I went over to Europe with NSA in 91, had some good success over there. And then built a little in the US, Mexico, and Hong Kong. So I was going on the road for several years building. But then things kind of changed when I came back to America. And Larry Thompson was doing an event that I went to with Jeff, and told me about a company he was doing some things with that I might have an interest in that had just started. The founder of the company I knew from Herbalife, the company's called Advocare, a very successful company today. Yeah. Got involved over there, spent a couple of years building there, and to this day, a lot of the top guys were all...
So you were like one of the, if not the first distributor effort
over there,
right?
They were about a year and a half old.
Okay.
And I was the top person over there back then. Had some differences of opinion with the owner, who's passed away.
But a good guy. I can understand that. I think we all go through that in our careers. Not necessarily do we agree, which will then cause us to wonder: is this the right culture for me to be in?
Right.
Yeah.
And then I went overseas, started my own company in Israel.
How'd that work out for you?
That was pretty good. Had some good success. I had a son, got married.
In that order?
No, not that order. Got married first, then had a son.
Okay, I'm just checking. I mean,
And did some consulting and stuff. Came back to America after this, the economy in Israel and everything changed. And Clay Jackson again reached out to me, and he was one of the top distributors of New Vision.
Oh wow, yeah.
And he said to me, internet. We've got an internet division, eVision Link. You got to take a look at this. So I went into Phoenix and met with BK and his brother Jason in 2000, March of 2000. Yeah. saw what they were doing, got all excited, and had been with them ever since we had our little issue here about 6 months ago.
That's funny, because that's when BK and I connected, because I was running ProStep, and he had called because some of you guys had been using leads, and he said, hey, is there any way that we can work something and make this happen for these guys? And it's like, you know, we just connected. From that point forward, you know, we were whittling around doing stuff. So until this last little clip. Wow. Jeff shared a lot of stuff right then, some powerful stuff. Part 2 is going to be phenomenal. I think you guys are going to enjoy it, but I want you to think about something here. You don't need to be looking at the next best shiny coin. You don't need to be looking at the next best deal on the market. If you want to build a successful network marketing career, then you need to do what Jeff Roberti and Jeff Weisberg and others have done. Find your home. Find your leadership you can believe in. Find your products and services that you know are going to change people's lives. And then you go start on a journey to create a legacy and an iconic brand that people say, this company and this leader changed my life. Stay tuned to part 2.